and you update your status, you have just generated data. You go to work and you clock in your details that you have come to work. You have just generated data. What I'm saying to you, as I said before, is data. So a lot goes on in our world today, and if you have a company, no matter what you are doing, and you are not cognizant of taking notes or taking being very careful about the data that is coming in and knowing what to do with them. A lot of people generate data, but they don't know what to do with them. So I believe this talk will open our eye to look at all aspects. So what is data? I've defined that there are basically two types of data. We have structured and unstructured data. It's important to know that the data that I'm generating now, the word I'm speaking, are unstructured data. The social media posts that you make on your WhatsApp, on your Facebook, on your Instagram are unstructured data. But the type of data that we can arrange in tables, in columns, and that has what we call headers are structured data. Let me give you, for example, recently when I traveled to Lagos, I used one transport company here in the southeast. I won't call the name, very popular. So I noticed that immediately I stepped out of the bus, I saw a survey on my phone. I just saw it. It was not up to 5 minutes. I stepped out. I saw they said customer feedback. I should rate my journey. Was it fine? How did the driver drive? Or was I comfortable in the bus? Did the driver overspeed? So I was really very happy because I saw a company here around us that was very particular with knowing, getting feedback from their customers. So many companies don't care about that. They don't do that. They may think it's not necessary. So getting customer from feedback, that kind of data you generate from questionnaire, from surveys, from feedbacks, are what we call structured data. So that kind of data you generate from questionnaires, from survey, I can just decide to ask you guys here random questions. I can decide to ask you your age. I can decide to ask you what you ate this morning. How do you feel about the country? Anything. Those are structured data because they have a predetermined way we analyze them. So, but data that someone can just generate as text, as an image, as a picture, medical images, those things they don't have any pattern of occurrence. So we call them unstructured data. So the difference between data analytics and data science is that data analytics deals with structured data, while data science deals with unstructured data. Data science has to, because it is dealing with unstructured data, it has to now involve what we call machine learning and artificial intelligence to analyze unstructured data. Machine learning is the ability of a computer, the ability of a computer system to what we call training, to adapt or be trained in a way the data behaves and then use it to make prediction. So while artificial intelligence is the ability of a machine to mimic a human behavior and behave as if it is a human being. Let me give you a very popular example. Recently, OpenAI, a company, they launched ChatGPT. You have heard about ChatGPT? Alright, so ChatGPT means generative, the P is there is generative protective transformer. That's ChatGPT. So what is ChatGPT all about? Is an AI tool. It's not a search engine. People think that it's a search engine. Google is a search engine. It is not a search engine. And ChatGPT is an AI tool that was developed in November 30th, released in November 30th, 2022, that's last year. It's still open source. That interacts with you as if it is a human being. It interacts with you as if you can go to ChatGPT and say, hello, what do you recommend I eat today? It will give you food. It will give, I try this. It can even generate quotes. It can write CV for you. I'm telling you. Even some universities in the US, I was reading yesterday, has blocked their students from using it, because it will, of course, you give a student assignment, he goes on ChatGPT, and ChatGPT does the assignment for him. So it's, the world has gone advanced. That's an application of artificial intelligence. So that is, ChatGPT was built with so many unstructured data behind it. It was built with a lot of data science algorithms that I cannot mention here. There are plenty of them, that it has the ability to now communicate with you as if it's a human being. So that's one practical example. The type of machine learning algorithm or artificial intelligence that ChatGPT operates with is what we call natural language processing, NLP. If you didn't get anything from this lecture today, you can go and read about it. Natural language processing is the ability of a computer to be trained to speak as if it's a human being, using semantic analysis, what we call summarizers, and let me not go so deep into that. So that is just one aspect of AI in our daily life. So that is unstructured data for you. So while we want to look at this area, is a business area. This area is a business area. How can people leverage on data analytics and data science in the small businesses that they do? We are still going to touch research for students and academicians that are here. Number one is that the first advantage of data science in business is that it reveals to you the amount of products that you sell, the type of products that you sell, the customer behavior. So many people are just interested in selling product, buying and selling. They are not interested in how the customer is responding to the product. I told you that I entered a transport company. Immediately I stepped down, they sent me something to my phone. I even begged me to answer it. They were interested in how the service they offer to me was, and I know that they will use it to improve their service. So in business, it's important to data analytics and data science. Whichever data you are collecting, it guides you on. You don't make decisions based on what you think. A lot of business people make decisions based on what they're seeing and what they think, or probably their intuition. No, you use data to make decisions. So sales performance, customer behavior, whether you are taking a loan or not. If it's a financial institution like banks use data analytics to know a customer to give loan and a customer not to give loan. That what we call non-performing loans, but very bad loans. There are people that, of course, you agree with me that there are loan apps now that you can just go online and take loans. They will tell you no collateral. It's not true. When you are taking the loan and when they will come for you, you will see that it will not be the same thing. So some of those companies have thrown caution into the wind. That's why it is more difficult to get a loan from a bank that is a financial institution than all those side companies, because some of them don't really analyze anything. They just probably give you the money and then. So, but banks, all financial institutions, use data analytics to know people that will pay back and people that will not pay back. That's what we call, there is a machine learning algorithm we call random forest and cluster analysis. What it does is that it uses your historical data. It uses the data that you have already to decide on to take a particular decision concerning you. Let me give a very popular another example. If, for example, you apply for a job in, let me say, a very big company like Google, Amazon, Facebook, or WHO, you apply for a job. Imagine a job where only 20 persons are needed and then 3,000 people apply. Just imagine that. So who sits down to go through the CV of 3,000 people to say this one will come for interview, this one will not come? It is not human beings that do that. We have softwares that are based on data science algorithms that can strike out a CV just based on keywords optimization. If you see the advertorial where they say you must have this, the candidate must have this, and those things do not reflect in your CV, for example, that software will throw it out. So you won't even be shortlisted for interview. I have so many people say they submitted their CV to a very popular company in Lagos, in Port Harcourt. They were not called for interview. I was now asking them, when you were stating their CV, submitting your CV for that job, did you make it, did you tailor your CV according to that job? Were you picking the keywords that they needed? Probably they used a software to screen you out. So that is one very good application of data science. I was talking about banks giving loan. Banks will pass you through a lot of tests and pass you through their software that they use to make sure that the prediction on you, especially when you are seeking for a very big loan, it's high before they can do that. So that's the application of data science in business. So I don't know a lot of us are in business and data. Okay, let's look at data science, data analytics and data science tools. Number one, when people come to me and say they want to learn, they want to start the data journey, if I give you a brief history of myself, I started analyzing data in 2015. So I think this is 8 years. So I've worked with a lot of data, even though I'm a medical person. I've worked with a lot of data. We have published a lot of, if you go to Google Scholar, you see a lot of my articles there. So we have done a lot of publications, academic research. But I see a lot of people call me every day, want to learn, want you to mentor us. I ask them very simple questions. Why do you want to learn data analytics? Why? What do you want to do with it? Several answers. But data analytics is a field that is I told you that it's the world number 3 global skill. It's a skill that is worth having, because every company, no matter what you do, pharmaceutical company, medical, teaching hospitals, government parastatals, NGOs, they will always need you. Banks, they will always need you. So the skill that you need to learn is, number one, you need to have a very good knowledge of Microsoft Excel. Is important. You need to have a very good knowledge of Microsoft Excel. No matter what you do in data analytics, your starting point must be Microsoft Excel. You need to be properly trained. Beginner, intermediate, and advanced level. Even if you cannot go to an advanced level, but at least have a very good knowledge of and have a very good capacity to use that software is very important. Microsoft Excel is a world number 1 spreadsheet data software. So all types of structured data are put into it. Then number two software, you need to have a grasp of a programming language. You need to have a grasp of a programming language. Sure, data science is the fusion of statistics, programming, and your domain knowledge. If you're a medical person, probably you're a doctor, or you are a lab scientist, you are a medical person, or you're a researcher. So whatever domain knowledge that you have, the fusion of your domain knowledge plus statistics and programming is data science for you. So Microsoft Excel, Python is a very good data science programming language. It communicates with all types of data. Python is very good. Some people also use R. There is another software we call R. The difference between Python and R is that, okay, both of them are open source. Python is open source, R is open source, but Python codes are easier to learn than R. Python codes are easier to learn. And then Python is you can use Python to create websites, you can use Python to write apps, you can use Python to analyze data. Python is all user, but R is specifically for data and data related things. So somebody that is into software development can use R. I can use Python. As a data person, I use Python to analyze my data. So it's important to pick. There are several other programming languages too, but Python is world renowned. So the number 3, you need to have a knowledge of a data visualization software. There are plenty of them, but I will recommend just 2. Number one is what we call Power BI. I don't know whether some of us have heard about it. Number one is what we call Power BI. Power BI means Power Business Intelligence. Power Business Intelligence, that's Power BI. It's a software that is used to visualize data and data storytelling. You know, if I'm working with data, for example, and I'm showing you a lot of tables, I'm showing you a lot of results, and I don't have charts and graphs to use those things to tell the story of my data, it will be boring. It will be boring. Data can actually be boring. But when you have the data visualization skill, you can tell a lot of stories using graphs. It's nice and charts. So Power BI helps us to do that. And then fortunately, Power BI is free. Power BI was built by Microsoft and it's free. You don't pay. It's open source. You can download it and learn how to use it. It's even simple to use. Though it has a programming aspect we call DAX, DAX, data analysis expressions, is also incorporated into Power BI. The second data visualization software you can learn, we're talking about data tools now, is what we call Tableau, T-A-B-L-E-A-U, Tableau. Tableau was developed before Power BI. It has been existing before Power BI, but because it is not free, Tableau is not free, it's not open source like Power BI, it is not as popular. You know, anything that is not free in this environment, people naturally shy away from it. So it is not, but Tableau is a very wonderful software, easy to use, communicates like English language, and it's very nice. So, but I usually recommend to my students, just learn one. If you are good in Power BI, I think it's okay. Their charts are always very nice. So, I've talked about Microsoft Excel. I've talked about Python or R and R. I've talked about Power BI and what Tableau. Okay. Now, if you are into research, I must advise you, you will need to embrace statistics. If you are into research, you need to embrace statistics. In short, there is nothing you can do in data science and analytics without statistics. You must learn to. Statistics is simply, when they mention statistics, I see people run away from it. They say it's hard, they say it's difficult. No. But we apply it in our daily life. Statistics is simply the field of study that deals with collecting, organizing, management, interpreting, and analyzing data. So whatever form of data, especially structured data, statistics is the branch of science that deals with collecting, organizing, analyzing, interpreting, and visualizing data. So there is nothing you can do in research, especially when you want to prove empirical stuff, that you cannot and you will not need statistics. So there are so many data statistics tools that we use. Something like IBM SPSS is very important. IBM SPSS is very important. It's a world-renowned software too. It is used for research data majorly. IBM SPSS means Statistical Package for Social Sciences. So you can read it up later. It's very important. I have trained a lot of people in it in the past few years. And then there is one that is in vogue now, used in American universities and UK universities. We call it STATA, STATA. STATA, STATA is actually for social, if you are coming from social sciences, economics, and the medical data. It is unique for these three fields: social sciences, economics, and medical data. So STATA is a very good software. It is not free. It is not free. But if you buy the licensed version, it's worth it. I use it almost every day. There's another software we call, there's a whole lot of them, we call SAS. There's another one we call GraphPad Prism. So these are tools that somebody that wants to go into data analytics should equip himself with. It is recommended that you should know Microsoft Excel, you should know one data visualization software, you should know one programming language software, you should know one statistical software, and then one database language software, something like SQL. Have you heard about SQL before? What does SQL mean? Huh? No. SQL means structured querying language. Yes. SQL is not a software, it's a language. Just like Java and C++. So SQL is used where someone wants to extract data from a database. If you know what a database is a data repository, a place where companies and industries and organizations store their data. Let me give you an example. The teaching hospital here, they have a medical record system where if a patient comes into the hospital, there are people that are responsible for keying in data from folders of patients into the system. So all those data that are keying in, where is it storing? A bank, for example, that is a very big store, they should have a database where once someone wants to check out with a product and they scan the product the person buys, and you will see the data they're collecting from you. So those things store in a DBMS. DBMS is database management system. So there must be a DBMS where those things are stored. It's not, I know they must have theirs. Data are stored in the cloud, in database systems, and so you as the data person or the data analyst or the person that knows how to analyze data, sometimes the reason why you should have SQL skill is that sometimes you need to communicate with that database and pull data from there and analyze it. So you may not be readily given the data for you to work on it. You will go to the database yourself and pull whatever you need and analyze it there and then, instead of coming to shift it to Excel and then start analyzing. So it's important to have SQL skill. SQL is not difficult to learn. It's written in a very plain language. It's a plain language program that one can learn and take it off from there. So if you are employed in a company or an organization as a data manager or a data analyst or whichever one, and they have a data warehouse, they have a database where they store their data, it's important to get SQL skill, because it's the only language that the computer understands that you can retrieve data from. So that is what we basically use SQL to do. Once you want to communicate with the database and you want to pull out large amounts of data, whichever amount, you can use SQL to do that. So these are the data tools that we have. These are the data tools that we have, regardless of anywhere you work in the world. These are the data tools you likely be working with. I don't want to go into them one after the other. If it comes to SQL, there are plenty types of SQL. We have Oracle, we have MySQL, the one that was developed by Microsoft. We have Postgres, but let's keep it as that. So data science and research. Let's look at the applications of data science and research. What is research? Am I free to ask anybody? Am I free to ask questions? Okay, not now. All right. So what is research? Research is just basically finding out new things, validating things that have been. Somebody, imagine when we were growing up, somebody told us that the world was spherical, Abi, and we all believed it. Is it true? Have you proved it? Have you gone to check that the world is spherical? So why are we not turning if it's actually spherical? I used to think about. So that is a hypothesis that somebody had just probably discovered. They say the guy went around the world and discovered that the world was spherical. That's just a hypothesis. So the reasons why we do research is that to discover new things or to test already believed hypothesis. Someone in the medicals, the normal temperature of the body is at 7.5 degrees. Someone can choose to see whether it's true. Someone can do a research and say, no, I want to check. I want to sample normal persons, 30 normal persons, 50 normal persons, and check whether that hypothesis is actually true. So that is the reason why we do research. We do research to discover new things or to validate already existing hypotheses. So in research, data analytics is the key of research, because every type of research you do is based on data. You can't make any headway, you can't make any conclusion if you don't collect data from persons. When COVID-19 outbreak happened in 2009, 2020, yes, that was so. People wanted to know. The WHO was sponsoring a lot of research. Anybody that can come up on any COVID-19 related work, let's look at how does it present. The world was eager to sponsor anything that will help us to understand the disease, because the disease came as a blockbuster. The people did not understand the pattern of it. We've had so many viruses that have come, Ebola, Lassa, and the rest, but Corona came in a very different way. So it was research and clinical trials. What we call clinical trials is an advanced form of medical research though. Clinical trial that was done to discover that this disease is even airborne to start with, and then look at what we can start doing to start preventing it. Once you can wash your hand, of course you know that viruses many times they don't stand aerosols and what we call a virus is very difficult to remove, but it's also very easy that once you rub and sanitize on your hand and do it will die. So they also discovered, so it was research that discovered those things. So presently in the hospital there is a research we are doing where we are also testing COVID-19 vaccines that people are receiving now. It's currently a clinical trial. We are currently doing that. I happen to be the data manager, so I can describe the research to you. I manage the database. So we are currently looking at if the federal government of Nigeria can spend less in vaccine procurement. If, for example, I have corona or I am exposed to coronavirus and I'm giving one shot of vaccine, if 1/5 of that vaccine can produce the same immunogenicity, if you're a medical person here, you understand what I'm saying, immunogenicity and primary response as the quantity that I'm receiving. So why don't we now cut the quantity that we give to people? When yellow fever vaccine came on board, when yellow fever killed a lot of people, it was discovered that even just 1/5, if a normal person is receiving 2 meals, for example, that 0.5 meals can produce the same immunogenicity that 2 meals is producing. So why are we wasting money? Why are we wasting vaccines? So it helped the government then to plan better, and the government cut a lot of costs. So we are doing this study to know that fractional doses, we call it fractional doses of COVID-19 vaccine, whether it can produce the same immunogenicity as the 100% dose. We are looking at 50% dose fraction, we are looking at 25% fraction, we are also looking at 75% fraction. We want to see if you receive 50%, I receive 25%, she receives 75%. Are we immune against the virus? If yes, then let the government start fractionalizing it so that one vaccine can be able to take 4 persons. So you see where research comes in. So it helps the government. This is a policy making research, so we are not joking with it. It's a policy making. Sure, the Federal Ministry of Health is awaiting the findings from research to be done, because it will guide them on the next move to take. So research is, no matter your background, a lot of us do research for academic purpose. Some of us are in final year, we just do it and we play with it and we think it's nothing. So, but the primary purpose of that is to make you to actually validate, to make informed decisions. They are not making decisions blindly. So businesses that are around, and just a simple thing to set up, have a system, have a checking in, your goods coming, you check them in, know the quantity, know the price, you put them there. When they go out, it also is recorded there, so that someone can look at the year inventory and say, this is how much sales I made. In June, I made more sales than in April. In first quarter of the year, okay, we didn't do so well, but in the second quarter, we are setting a target of this. Imagine when you don't have such data, how will you set targets? So that is the real life, the very common application of data analytics. So I think I will stop here, and if there are questions, I will take. Thank you for listening to me.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
How to use this time now to answer questions from
The Igbo man has come up with cure. Now it's just that it's very expensive. People cannot afford it, but he has a cure now, because we have discovered that sickle cell is just what happens in sickle cell patients, is that there is a displacement of a particular gene in the strand of their DNA. Just a displacement, dislocation of gene, and the person is having sickle red blood cells, and that is a permanent disorder in the blood. So if we can produce a drug that can target that, or if we can go to the blood, harvest the gene and reorder it and put it back the way it's supposed to be, and probably do give the person a new blood or whole blood transfusion, the person will not have sickle cell again. The bone marrow will start producing the one that we've given it. So that's why bone marrow transplant is now very popular in the US, because once your bone marrow cells can be replaced with newer cells, sickle cell is gone. So data science, machine learning have helped us to develop drugs, helped us to develop new methods of research, not the conventional research we do in the 80s, where someone goes outside collecting, doing a lot of chemical. No. Those things are not done now. There is a field of, last year I actually applied for a training, but though I didn't get a sponsorship in South Africa, to look at, it was a training on molecular analysis of metagenomic data. Metagenomic data is data that is generated from your DNA. Do you know what we know what cells are now? Every component of your body is made up of cells, and the SI unit of a cell is the DNA. Because it is DNA at the DNA level, at the molecular level. That's where you understand what is happening in the cell. How cell communicates are basically dependent on how the DNA is structured. So I wanted to go for that training, where we will be trained on how to understand the DNA structures of a human being. If you are given a metagenomic data from the blood of a patient, what can you do with it? How will you be able to provide solution using it? What new things can you come up with? So I want to encourage us not to limit our focus or our scope on our environment. I am not the type of person that my environment affects. I like to, there are new things, and the world has gone, even in medical, in radiography, medical and X-ray imaging and computational topography. Data science has even also taken very soon, it may come to the level that the way ChatGPT was developed, another AI tool can be developed, whereby someone can even talk to a machine, though it may not be 100% correct, or someone can talk to a machine and receive medical consultations. So those of us that are doctors, you may not like this one, but we are coming to that. I think they are also working on it. So all those AI engines, search engines, are all based on data science. They are all practical applications of data science. Let me tell us about data science algorithms. You can write it down. Data science algorithms. You can check it out. Maybe you can read more on it later. Data science algorithms. Let me talk on maybe just 4 or 5 of them. Data science algorithms are already developed methods that help us to take decisions. You know, our topic is transforming data science for research and decision making. Data science algorithms are already developed models. They are models that help us to take decisions. As a company, as an individual, as a private person, in your daily life. Imagine that you wake up and you go to your Facebook, and Facebook is suggesting someone that you may know. Have you ever seen it? The software, whatever they are doing there, is suggesting that you know this person. And true, there is a 90%, 70% chance that you know this person from somewhere. Does it happen? Yes. So how do they do that? How do they come up with that? This guy, you might know. So add as friend. How? We call that the first algorithm we want to look at. Recommender system. It's an algorithm, yes. You can read it. It's a machine learning algorithm. We call it recommender systems. So you've done this, you've done this, you've done this, you should do this. So recommender systems are models that are based on historical data and patterns over a long period of time. Models that are built on patterns over a long period of time. We call it historical data. Facebook has monitored you. They have seen that you are living in Nnewi, you are from Agwata, you schooled in Unizik, you are working in teaching hospital. So there are people that share that same characteristics with you, that also schooled in Nnewi, probably are from Nnokwa. So when the recommender systems, the algorithm that they use, fetch up all those data, they place a person. Once they pass 70%, they suggest the person to you and say, do you know this person? And in most cases, you will know that you have met the person one certain time. The person's contact is not on your phone, but you just know that. So we call it recommender system. Another company that uses recommender system for their sales is Jumia. Jumia uses recommender system a lot. If you bought product from Jumia, they will not leave you alone. They will keep recommending similar products to you. If you imagine buying laptop from them, they will recommend charger. They will recommend. Do you need accessories now? You should need this. You should need that. You should need the other one. So they keep flashing it. Have you? You don't even need to buy. Just a click. Have you explained what I'm saying? Yeah. You just wanted to check out an item, or you added it to your cart. You have not paid though. They will start suggesting similar items to you. So it's not someone that is doing that. It's an algorithm that website was built with. It's a machine learning recommender system algorithm. So that's a practical application. So businesses these days, imagine someone comes and opens up a Facebook page, for example, and the person is earning from it. How does it work? They say somebody just opens a Facebook page. Let me say CEDTalk, for example, and you guys are just, Facebook is paying you. How will Facebook pay you for using their product? So it means that what you are doing is that you are keeping their platform engaging. There must be something you are doing in that page that is making people to always come there to check you out. Are you following me? So when people come there to check you out and you receive a large level of engagement, they will have to reward you for that. There's an algorithm that operates on two. That determines this post has 1,000 likes, this one has 1 million likes. Okay, so at the end of the day, you will find out that if you post, let me take for example one of the very, very good comedians, Macaroni and Sabinus, what's his name? Mr. Funny. I used to observe that he usually posts his comedy in a particular time. Usually post it in the morning. He has posted another one today in the morning. Do you know why? He has monitored. Facebook has suggested to him that your post receives a larger engagement within this time period. Are you following what I'm saying? So he does that post during that time period so that he can receive the level of engagement that he's receiving. So those things are product of data science. Those things are product of data science. So let's look at the second machine learning algorithm. Number 2 is what we call linear regression. Linear regression is a very popular algorithm that we use to predict what we call numerical outcomes. Linear regression, it's a very popular algorithm that we use to predict numerical outcomes. It's also used very well in research. It's used for structured data and unstructured data. The first one I gave you guys is mainly for unstructured data, but this one is used for both structured data and unstructured. So somebody is selling cars, for example. I am a car dealer, I have a car shop. Is there a popular car person here that sells cars very well? Okay, around this place. Let me use the person as an example. Okay, maybe I buy 100 vehicles in a month, and I usually sell 50. I usually sell 70 in a month too. So, but I've discovered that a type of people, a supermarket like Roban, to supermarkets that are here, these people may not prioritize collecting data. If you go to Roban, you buy a product, you want to leave, they will check the product, they will check the amount that you bought it, they will check